What's up, YouTubers? Jose Quiñones, the CNC dude here. Hey, I want to do a quick tour of my workshop slash lab. I've been meaning to do it for a while, but I'm about to do some major changes, so probably this is the right time to document what I have. First thing I want to say though is this is not a bragging contest. This is not about me showcasing all of the junk that I have been able to collect throughout the years. This is not something that you will do in a weekend, okay? You're gonna see tools here that are 25 years old, so this is 25 years worth of accumulation. Most of the stuff in here is basically junk that I have found on surplus stores, auctions, so it's not stuff that you can even buy easily. You have to find it and negotiate it. It's a toss-up, right? You're gonna see a bunch of workbenches. You could walk to your favorite Home Depot and get 10 workbenches. I mean, probably they have them in there. In my case, it's basically one a year. I go on Black Friday and I just say, which workbench do I want to buy, or maybe a tool chest, right? So you're gonna see a bunch of this in here, but it's not like I went on a weekend and say, yeah, put all of this on my truck. It took a while to get this stuff, okay? 25 years worth of accumulation. Like I like to tell my co-workers and friends, you have savings, I have junk, okay? So this stuff is a trade-off. If the point is that, you know, it takes time to grow this stuff. If you were a billionaire and you wanted to build this in a weekend, probably you could get some of it in a weekend. But, you know, some of these tools even require a whole day just to move them in and out. So if you had money, you could probably hire people to do that for you. But, you know, mere mortals like you and me, this stuff takes time. So basically what I want to say is, if your workshop is tiny today, just keep going. It will grow, and one day you'll be like, what the heck have I done? I mean, this is crazy. Probably what I'm saying right now, probably what all of my friends have been saying for years. But that's what it is. So let's take a quick walk around the workshop and see what the heck I have in here. Alright, so what we have in here is basically a big rectangle measuring 27.6 feet by 20 feet, which gives us 552 square feet worth of space. Now 550 square feet is a decent proposition, 552 if you want to get accurate. However, I really don't have 552 square feet of flat space because of this ledge. I imagine this ledge was put in place so that cars would not bump into the walls. I didn't have this ledge on my previous home, so it was a little bit of a surprise when I saw it, as it basically does not allow me to wheel anything into this region here, which is why all I could do was fill it up with racks. It was okay because I have plenty of racks to fill it up, but it was a little disappointing because it basically disallows me to do different things. Like, for example, I cannot put anything in this direction. Building around wasn't really an option because then that would have been cumbersome in the way. So really, all I could do was put racks, and you know, it basically just limits what you can do. So a little bit disappointing. I would have preferred to have flat space, but that's what it is. So my canvas now looks like this and gives me 483 square feet to put anything that is on wheels and 69 square feet for racks and storage. When the time came to decide how to use this flat space, I decided to create aisles so that I could get access to all of it with ease. And what I did was I created basically 3 aisles, L1, 2, and 3, and then a tool aisle where I have the CNC equipment, the lathe, and lastly an entrance because people have to use this space to go in and out of the house. Here you can see how I spread the different areas in what is a workbench, where is my electronic lab, and where are the tools, the storage, and so on. This is what I call aisle number 1. Believe it or not, I spend a lot of time on this aisle because of the computer that I have back there, which is the shop computer. So I design all of my parts and I cam pretty much everything back there. I also do most of my personal browsing, you know, Facebook and email and all of that stuff. This aisle is kind of important. Now most of it though is storage. Lots and lots of electronical and mechanical components, gears, motors, a bunch of junk actually, but it's basically in there waiting for it to be used. It is also the most dangerous aisle for me and my family. Not as much for me because I know where everything is, but everybody that comes and walks through here gets crushed with something poking out. So you truly have to be watching your step when you're coming through this aisle because of all of the junk that is unfortunately poorly stored just because of the lack of space. Now, I know that some people have spaces that are way smaller than this, but you know, it is all relative. If you have too much crap, even the biggest of the space is too little. So it is not because of how little space I have, it's because of how much junk I have. That's the problem. But you know, most of this is storage, and you see back there I have stuff piled up in a cart, and you know, it can be moved in and out as needed. One of the lucky things about this 3-car garage is that I have a lot of space to the top, so I can literally pile up boxes and boxes of junk up to the ceiling. On my previous garage I didn't have that flexibility, so I actually, you know, I had less space storage. Remember, I mean, it's basically three dimensions. It's a big cube. This case not a cube because it's a rectangle in X and Y, but instead those 2 extra feet are incredibly useful. This is what I call my aisle number 2. And I know you're thinking, aisle number 2? I mean, there is not an aisle here. There is something on the way. Yeah, this is just a temporary setting while I work from home during this pandemic. I needed 2 setups, so I basically had to shuffle things a little bit. But you've seen the videos before. This is basically an aisle that I go in and out towards the machine. So I gotta say, this works very nice for my dual setup, but it's a pain having to go through a different path. This is where I spend most of my time, literally designing boards, assembling boards, writing code, firmware, software for controlling motors. Here's where you're gonna find the different tools required, like power supplies, the oscilloscope, soldering station, microscope, computers, so that I can get all of this stuff done. I do like to keep this workbench open. This is really the only workbench that I have, because when I'm assembling boards, this is where they go. And mostly what you're gonna find on these drawers is electronic components, tools required for assembling boards and troubleshooting applications. This is what I call my aisle number 3. And in here I just basically have a bunch of stuff that has been getting piled up, stored. Towards the end you're gonna see my plasma cutter that has not been used in years. The lathe that I use quite a lot. The band sander and the saw do get used quite a bit, because I mean, every time I need to cut a metal, that's basically how I do it. The drill gets used every now and then. Welding equipment, there's a bunch of welding equipment here, but you know, I basically weld like once a year. And then I have my press that gets used every now and then. Some storage, more storage. This workbench is being filled up with junk for years. So it's not a workbench. I mean, I cannot work on it. It's basically a storage bench, if there is such a thing. And then this guy, we're gonna talk about it in a different video. A problem that I have with this aisle though is that it basically is too close to the entrance of the garage. So when we come back from shopping, or if something happens outside that I have to store something real quick, probably it's gonna land in here, unfortunately. That means that now I cannot walk through here because there is always something on the way, which is very annoying. And sometimes whatever is here is so pretty much pressed in stone. It's easier to walk around than it is to move it. So I find myself going in and out, doing all this stupid loop, probably almost a workout worth of walking, as opposed to cleaning this up. So very obnoxious, very stupid on my behalf. I should just clean up or never put something here. But I tell you, 99% of the time there is some piece of junk in here and it stays there for weeks or months. It drives me nuts, but it's what it is. So this is an aisle that needs a lot of work. Probably this is the aisle that showcases how important it is to not pile up too much junk, because then you are compromising your space. Also notice that the garage doors are covered in some kind of reflective material that I can tell you is not what I was expecting. I guess it helps, but it's not like it's gonna make this super cool, I can tell you that. You see what I'm telling you? I mean, this is the spot where my daughter's little trike ended up. Just because where else are we gonna put it? Well, where is the spot that doesn't have anything? That's where it's going. The biggest problem that I have with this workshop is that it is not a workshop, it is a garage. So in essence, it is a workshop in a garage. That's a problem because every now and then we do have to put cars inside. For example, there are hailstorms in Dallas that will obliterate your car if you leave the car sitting outside. That's why every now and then, like twice a year actually, I have to take every single item and just move it back there. Luckily everything is on wheels, and that is the beauty of all of these workbenches, that I can just move them back. It takes me around 2 hours to dismantle everything and put it back there. So it is not an option for me to take it all back, assemble it again when the car comes out, and then take it all back on the next storm and then put it back in. It just doesn't work that way. Once you dismantle it, it has to be dismantled for at least a month until we just stop getting hailstorm warnings. So it's very cumbersome. Twice a year I basically have to dismantle the workshop just in case there is a hailstorm. Well, there you go. This was CNC Dude's workshop tour. I hope you liked it. I do realize it's extremely crowded in here, having accruing a lot of junk for the past 25 years. But this is where I get the stuff, my stuff done at least. I do have to report, however, this workshop is coming to an end. Everything that you see here and that you don't see is going out. In the past few weeks, I have not been able to record too many videos because I have been busy with other projects, which I'm going to be documenting next. But it is important to realize that this workshop is basically going to become a garage. So everything here is going. The next week are going to be super exciting, so stay tuned. I do want to thank you for tuning to this YouTube video, and I'm going to see you on the next one.